What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, as you can imagine, it's kind of slow on the news, but hang on, wait just a second. We've got a bombshell report just come out this morning. Oh, it's the ethics report on Matt Gaetz that told us absolutely nothing that we didn't already know, right? All these investigations by the ethics committee, the DOJ, all these places, they found, not much wrongdoing here. He paid for sex for blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that was in 2017, right when he first got elected into Congress. It's questionable decision-making, sure, but illegal? No, I think not. But, they actually released this report. Now, I'm going to get out there on a limb. I went and read some of the report. I didn't read the whole thing, right? I ain't going to lie. The first, like 3 pages is just garbage. Then they actually get into the allegations and then what they found, blah, blah, blah. In conclusion, they said they found, evidence that he did these things. But hang on, they also found that there's no substantial evidence that he committed any crimes. So, what does that tell you right there? But hang on just a second. We got a lawsuit. Check this out, y'all. Matt Gaetz files unsuccessful last-ditch lawsuit to stop release of the House ethics report. So he tried to stop this from coming out. Now, it is House rules that if a committee member that's being investigated quits, resigns from Congress, leaves, they don't release their report. Now, I wonder why they would want to do this to Matt Gaetz of all people, right? This is absurd. They went ahead and released that report anyway. Now, I will get out there and say that Michael Guest is the chairman of this committee, and I think he should be primaried into oblivion, if you ask me. As a matter of fact, here's a list of all the Republican members on that committee. So if any of these are your congressmen, yeah, well, let's go ahead and primary these people. Just get them all out of there. Now, I will say outright that, you might want to ask first, because some of these people did not vote to release this report, right? At the end, the conclusion, the chairman even said that he didn't want to release this report because it goes against the House rules. But you did it anyway, and we can't see the vote in committee. So we have no idea which one of these people actually voted to release this report on a citizen of all things, right? Yeah, sure, he used to be in the House. He used to be a representative, but he's not anymore. That violates their rules. Now, you can almost guarantee that all the Democrats voted for sure. Just outright, they all voted to release this report. But, I do think this still falls upon the chairman. And, chairman, I'm sorry. It falls upon you. I think you should get primaried into oblivion for this. This is some no-name brand congressman that we don't even know who the hell he is, Michael Guest. Like, who cares about this guy? Get him out of there. We need all new congressmen anyway. Just vote all these people out, in my opinion. But let's get into the story and let's see how CNN spins this thing right quick, y'all. Check it. Former Rep. Matt Gaetz filed a lawsuit Monday asking a federal judge to block the official release of a long-awaited House Ethics Committee report about his potential misconduct while in office. Gaetz filed a lawsuit around the same time that CNN and other outlets reported on a draft of the report's findings about his alleged misconduct and drug use. Within hours of the lawsuit being filed, the committee officially released the report on its website, making his lawsuit essentially mute. Yeah. But see, the thing is, he didn't know they was going to release that today. So, yeah, that lawsuit was applicable, in other words. And I think he should actually go through this lawsuit, because if he goes through it and finds, for some reason, which I don't know if they will or not, that they shouldn't release this report, then the damage has already been done, right? So now you can sue them on top of this. Oh, it's great. So I would love to see, I don't know if he played this in this way on purpose, or if he really didn't know they was going to release this report. But I'd love to see the outcome of this, right? We love to get the juicy bits around here. In the lawsuit, which was filed in Washington, D.C. against the Republican-led committee and its chairman, Gaetz claimed releasing the report would cause immediate, severe, and irreversible damage to his reputation, in part because media coverage would be immediate and widespread. He also claimed he wasn't notified of the panel's plans to release the report, nor was he provided copies of the materials. As such, plaintiff has been afforded no opportunity to respond to any report or investigative conclusions, the lawsuit states. Gaetz' lawyer said he has frequently and vehemently declared his innocence regarding the alleged misconduct and had asked the committee to cease their investigation and provide him appropriate due process rights. He said the Republican-run panel has been unresponsive to those demands. The federal judge assigned to the case, Mehta, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, ordered Gaetz to explain by 5 p.m. why the case shouldn't be dismissed because it appears to be moot, in light of the committee officially releasing the report. So I'm not 100% sure like how this would play out. I'm not a lawyer, so I really don't know, but I would love to see how this plays out, if they can actually get to a point where, sure, it's moot, but, if the court finds that they shouldn't release the report, I would love to see how that plays out, because that would be an interesting precedent to see exactly what happens with this, for future reference or what have you. Let's keep going, though. In a post on X after filing the lawsuit, Gaetz said, "They did this to me in a Christmas Eve report and not in a courtroom of any kind where I can present evidence and challenge witnesses." He further said, "Giving funds to someone you are dating is not prostitution," citing testimony from a woman who said she didn't charge him for sex. Right? Well, and that's the allegations here. And that's what the DOJ, the FBI investigated this and decided to not bring any charges. Now, we know who Matt Gaetz is. He's a firebrand. He's MAGA all the way through, right? This guy loves his constituents, right? He votes in their interest. He cares about this country. He cares about the people in this country. So, the fact that he doesn't like these rhinos that are on this committee, these rhinos in Congress, he tries to boot them out. I mean, he led the charge to get Kevin McCarthy booted from office, right? Which was one of the biggest, kicks to the face, if you will, of the establishment, and essentially got the ball rolling on, steamrolling the Republican establishment out of the Republican Party. They are no longer the establishment at this point, right? That just got the ball rolling on that, essentially. So, right, very good job there, Matt Gaetz. Very, very good. And what did they do? They come after him hardcore, right? They drummed up this thing, right? There was already an ethics committee report going on because of the investigation from the DOJ, which took place like in 2019 or 2020 or something like that, right? So this has been 4 years in the making. I wonder why they just been sitting on this thing. And I wonder why this ethics committee, this report just so happened to be restarted up in 2023 or 2022, was it? Whenever Kevin McCarthy got booted. I think it was 23, right? Oh, it just so happened to get restarted back up, and now they're finally getting to releasing their report. Very, very interesting, their establishment. Yes. We don't like the establishment around here, by the way. But this is what they do when you buck the system. When you buck the establishment, yeah, they fight back, as a matter of fact. But, at this point, the Republican establishment has been just beat down into submission at this point. And, they've got their spies out there or whatever. But, they're getting beat back and beat back and beat back at this point. I mean, just look at the last omnibus spending package that we just had to deal with, right? We got word from the people themselves on X. 1,547 pages of garbage spending? No, we don't want that. And guess what? Congress had to pay attention to this. They had to listen to the voice of the people, right? So this is very, very good news for the upcoming Trump administration, as a matter of fact. But this is what happens, right? And now Gaetz, I really wish he would stay in Congress, but he's not. He's not. He's changing careers, if you will. He's going to be on TV now. He's going to be one of these political analysts, a political pundit, doing pretty much what I do. So, it is what it is. We liked having Matt Gaetz because we liked to see somebody push back against the establishment. But, it is what it is. This is what happens. But this is how Congress is run, right? They set up these parties for these people, right? Tim Burchett gave this interview with Benny Johnson one time. I saw this thing, and he's like, well, this is what Congress does. When you come in, they ask you to come to all these parties, outside of doing all the stupid garbage fundraising that you got to do. They invite you to this party, and next thing you know, you're in a hotel room, butt naked, and somebody comes in and takes a picture of you, and now they can extort you for whatever, right? Which, it's a shakedown. Which is exactly, it sounds like what happened here, because you look into this thing, right? All this supposedly took place in 2017. Well, guess when Matt Gaetz got elected? 2016. That's right. He first got elected pretty much when Trump came in. So, yeah, that's what this sounds like to me. And, some of this other stuff, right, you could make it look like, right, if you were just to investigate, right, you got your wife over here. You're not legally married, but it's your girlfriend. You take her out to dinner and blah, 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 blah. Right? That could be made to look like something that it's not, is what I'm getting at. And that sounds like what he's saying is what this is. Now, they allege in this report that he slept with a 17-year-old. Now, that happens to be against the law, right? Because in Florida, the age of consent is 18 years old. Well, hang on. This happened in Florida. So why didn't the DOJ and the FBI charge Matt Gaetz for, the apt charges? I'm not going to state them right here. Why did they not do that? Oh, because there's no evidence. There's no proof of this. So, yeah, some of this is just twisting the facts around, manipulating the facts to make Matt Gaetz look as bad as they possibly can. So just keep that in mind. Let's keep going. The lawsuit alleges that the committee's own rules state it does not have power to publicly release a report about a private citizen. The committee's apparent intention to release its report after explicitly acknowledging it lacks jurisdiction over former members, its failure to follow constitutional notions of due process, and failure to adhere to its own procedural rules and precedent represents an unprecedented overreach that threatens fundamental constitutional rights and established procedural protections, the lawsuit states. The House Ethics Committee voted to release the report last week, a rare step as Gaetz is no longer in Congress. That's what all that legal mumbo-jumbo in the previous paragraph was all about. Pretty much, they don't release these reports to sit on citizens, right? Because if you resign from Congress, like I was saying earlier, if you resign from Congress, that Ethics Committee is mute. It's just outright moot. It bears nothing on reality anymore, because you're no longer in Congress, right? And generally speaking, they don't release these reports. So the fact that they released this report tells you something right there. The committee found that Gaetz paid tens of thousands of dollars to women for sex or drugs on at least 20 occasions, including paying a 17-year-old girl for sex in 2017, and said that Gaetz may have broken state laws prohibiting prostitution, statutory rape, illicit drug use, impermissible gifts, special favors or privileges, and obstruction of Congress. It alleges. So, once again, the DOJ didn't charge this guy when he is actively, bucking the system here. So, it is what it is. He added that he was never officially notified of the committee's intent to publicly release the report, nor was he never provided a copy. Therefore, he was never afforded the opportunity to respond to its conclusions. The lawsuit also points out that the Justice Department investigated Gaetz for similar reasons and declined to charge him, a defense the former congressman has repeatedly relied on. Right? You love how they're trying to twist this. Oh, he's relying on this for his defense. Well, if it happens to be the reality of the situation, yeah, that's a very, very strong statement right there, right? Right, he was supposedly brought a minor across state lines. Hang on, no. I'm sorry. If he would have really done that, if there would be evidence for this, they would charge him outright. I don't care if he's in Congress. As a matter of fact, once again, the establishment, the deep state, doesn't like this guy very much. So anything they can drudge up on this guy, they're definitely going to. And they're definitely going to pin him to the wall for doing so. Right? So what this is basically saying is, yeah, I'm not going to buy into this. That's what that tells me. Don't buy into none of this. But, you can believe whatever the hell you want to believe. I would suggest go read that report. It doesn't really say anything that we don't already know, right? It doesn't say anything that I'm not stating right here in this video. It's a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo, if you ask me. But, everything is there. The report, however, only alleges Gaetz may have broken state laws, right? They can't prove it. Once again, that you can allege anything on anybody at any time and any place, right? Like, you can make allegations on anybody, right? Like, I could allege that my neighbor punched me in the face. If I can't prove it, what is that then? It's just allegations. So that's why I always say take allegations with a grain of salt, because you don't know the facts of the situation. And we don't know the facts of the situation. This could have been a total setup, right, to get something over Matt Gaetz' head, right? Put him over a barrel or whatever. And just to get him, to where they can buy him or whatever. To make him vote however the hell they wanted to, right? Because this is what Congress does. But, that's also alleged. Gaetz also denies using campaign funds for personal expenses, saying in his lawsuit that the Federal Election Commission investigated the allegations and found no reason to believe that they were true. In addition, he states that the allegation that he may have engaged in illicit drug use is false, as is the assertion that he obtained fake IDs. Now, I will tell you right off the top, from what I read in this thing, it's these people that they had come in to testify said he did this. That's it. That's all. That's the only evidence they have. Is a couple of people said that he used drugs and he paid them for sex or whatever. That's it. Right? We're just supposed to take their word for it and say Matt Gaetz is a bad guy because of this, right? Like, this is what the corporate press is trying to do. You notice how they structure this here article, right? They structure it in such a way to where they give you all the allegations and all the bad stuff first. And then right at the very end, they tell you, oh, no, the DOJ investigated this and decided not to charge him. It's just, it's done that way on purpose to structure it in such a way to manipulate you into thinking the allegations are true before we get to the false stuff. Because they know that most people do not read the entire news article. Most people just read the headline and maybe, the summary paragraph or whatever. And that's it. Oh, there you go. There's your freaking news. This is why I make sure and read out the entire news article to you guys to make sure we get all the evidence. Make sure we get all the information so you know exactly what's going on here. But, it is what it is. I would rather take Matt Gaetz' word for it, considering the deep state elements that are pointed in his direction. Yeah, I'm not going to buy into it until we see some hard evidence, not just somebody's testimony that said he did a thing, right? Because once again, you can just say anybody did a thing. If you want to go after somebody, you just want to see somebody's career ruined, you want to take them down for whatever reason, you can just make up some allegations. And, the House Ethics Committee, they'll go ahead and add that into their report. Oh, he alleged they did this. Can you prove it, though? That's the point here. Can you freaking prove it? That's what I would love to know. And obviously, if the DOJ investigated this, they can't prove it. Because once again, I say it a third time, I guess. I think it's the third time. Something like that. If the DOJ, who, is part of the deep state investigated to go after somebody who is anti-deep state, yeah, if he done anything, they would absolutely pin this guy to the freaking wall. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. This is wild, if you ask me. Now, I can't believe they released this report. It goes against their own procedure, their own rules to release these reports on the citizens, but they did it. I think these people should be primaried. I'll put their names up again, once again, and so you can see them. And let's primary these people and get them the hell out of there, regardless if they voted for them or not. Because once again, like I said, we need to get all these congressmen out of there anyway. None of these people are on my good boy list. So, yeah, they need to go, y'all. But that's all I got. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.